It's Muffin, and welcome back. Doing a subscriber request for 2 Russian tanks, classics, tier 8 heavy. Gonna go head to head to find out who is better. We're gonna talk about these 2 tanks while we do best out of 3 rounds to find out who wins. Not as many people had this tank, seemed like either one of these tanks. I was surprised there wasn't more people with them. We have the first couple rounds here with 3v3. The last one, I think we do get up to 4v4. And both are very, very capable tanks. We'll talk about the KV4 and just some of its comparisons to the IS3 first. It has a better, and I'm going off of the top cannon for the KV4. Some people like using the 122 millimeter for the KV4. My personal opinion is I don't think that cannon is as effective. Yes, it has a higher average damage per shot. You do lose a lot with it though. So a lot of players here using that top tier cannon for the KV4 to really maximize their performance. It has better penetration. It has better accuracy compared to the IS3. It has a better DPM, better rate of fire. It has better shell velocity. So in regards to the KV4's cannon, it has a lot going for it. The IS3's top cannon, as what's shown and used in here from the subs playing, it has a higher average damage per shot, an average damage of 400. So that is the one thing the IS3 has going for it over the KV4, but the KV4 does shine in all those other aspects. In terms of gun depression, the KV4 does have a little bit more, which is helpful. And in terms of maneuverability, the IS3 really takes the cake there. And maneuverability really does play a huge factor when playing Blitz. You can get to those effective positions much quicker than tanks that are a bit slower, like in this comparison, where like the KV4. And in terms of armor, the KV4 does have more armor. However, the IS3 does have much more sloped and rounded or curved armor. Looking at the turret itself is pretty difficult to penetrate. In some cases here in this showdown, the IS3 is much more easily able to penetrate the KV4's turret because it has much more flatter angles. It's much more boxy. IS3 able to use that very rounded turret. The one issue that I run into with the IS3 is the pike nose. And overall, on average, across players playing these 2 tanks, excuse me, is the IS3 is performing slightly better on average, according to blitzstars.com. So quite an interesting position here over here on the far left. Of course, going dead center town could put you in a bad spot. You can see there from the KV4, the turret can be a little bit easier to penetrate, especially that mini turret on top of the KV4's primary turret. Whereas with the IS3, you don't quite see that, being it's got a much lower profile, very rounded turret. Notice a lot of these tanks going more around the dunes rather than trying to go over the dunes, which is smart. Even though the IS4 does have slightly better gun depression than the IS3, it's still not enough. Excellent shot there from that IS3 right into the side of that KV4. Unfortunate miss there, good bounce. Using that little bit of extra gun depression the KV4 has does put the armor a little bit more at an angle, making the armor a little stronger. Even though the KV4 is slightly more accurate, I think the aim time is about the same on both tanks. The dispersion, no, I think the dispersion is about the same. The aim time, I think, is a little faster on the KV4. It's still not great. You can see the radial aimer still pretty large. Sometimes hard to hit some of these weak spots. But being a heavy tank, especially with armor, these things are much more supposed to be in a frontline position. Very smart here, trying to put the cannons up, and you can end up blocking shots with your cannon. Turned his tank just right as the KV4 shot, taking out the track. Things are not looking too good, so the score's tied. We had the IS3 win the first one, the KV4 winning the second one. This will be the determining factor on which one wins. Personally, in my opinion, if I had to choose between the IS3 or KV4, I would say they're both fairly comparable. I'm a type of player that does prefer maneuverability over armor, so I could be a little biased in this decision, in the fact that I think I like the IS3 slightly better. However, I'm not a fan of the pike nose. The one thing I do like about the KV4, even though it is quite boxy, I do feel like it is a little better at side scraping. You try to side scrape with a pike nose, and if you get that any area of that pike exposed, it's going to be quite easy to penetrate. But you guys will have to let me know in the comments below which one you prefer, the KV4 IS3. Very aggressive going across there. Little bit exposed. I think he's trying to get to a flanking position. Man, you can just see the rounds bounce. Russian steel. Which one will Stalin favor? Now, I don't think the KV4 was ever a tank that was ever built. I don't think it ever existed. It may have just been in blueprints. The IS3, however, I'm pretty sure no, that one was a tank that existed. Things not looking too good for the KV4s here. They do get one IS3 down, which is definitely needed. So I want to thank Ukulele Bob so much for helping to put together these replays, doing some editing. Also thank all the subs who participate, help. If you want to help with the vids, I do get these questions in the comments quite a bit. Join my Discord, get the movie crew role. You can message any of the staff members to get that role. That way you can get the announcements on when I put the rooms together, and everyone is more than welcome to join. So hope you guys enjoyed the vid. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.